You mentioned kids, and I want to talk to you guys about being child-free by choice because I am too.
Hey!
And I mean, people have their opinions on it, but a lot of people can't really wrap their head around it. And I'm about to turn 40, and I mean, I get questions every day. Do you still not want kids? Do you want kids now? I was married before divorce. Now I'm with somebody else. Now that you're with somebody else, do you want kids? Have you changed your mind? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. So how did you guys arrive at that decision?
That was a journey for us. When we met really young, we were not expecting to find our person, but we were like 22 and 23.
Yeah, straight out of college.
Yeah. And so we had conversations about having kids, and we both at the time wanted to. We totally pictured our lives with kids. Yeah, we just assumed. And so we said, okay, great. We're on the same page with that. We can continue forward. Let's get married. And we figured we'll have kids maybe a couple years down the road. Let's be married for a while. And like maybe when we're in our 30s.
We were like in our mid-20s. Like, we got time.
We have time. And so as the time started to inch closer and closer, like we started to check in with each other about it and ask like, hey, are you feeling ready? Do you want to do this yet? And we both were feeling like, no, like I just don't really feel that desire to. And we were also really lucky to have friends who started having kids and were really honest with us about like what it's like and how unprepared they felt, the ways that it changed their dynamic together, their sex life, the positive stuff too, but also like really being honest about how big of a change it is. And so we kept having these conversations and kept saying, okay, well, it's still no. Okay, let's check in another year. Okay, let's check in another year. And eventually we both started realizing like, I don't know if we are going to feel like we want to. And it really started to crystallize around that question of want for me. There were so many messages that we were getting about like, oh, you should do it. You're at the right age. You've been married for a while. You'll regret it if you don't. You're going to be lonely when you get old. Nobody's going to take care of you. Yeah, you've heard it all too. And so, but I thought, I want to focus more on the want. Like if I'm going to have a kid, I want to be able to look that child in the eye and say, I wanted you so badly. Like, I think kids deserve that. Kids deserve to be wanted, not to be brought into the earth because I was afraid that maybe at some point in the future, I might regret the decision not to. So I really tried to focus on that question. We both did. And we both kept coming up with, no, like we don't actively want a child. And so it ultimately just felt like that's the most fair thing that we can do. And that's the most unselfish thing that we can do, which is so ironic because that's one of the things you hear too. Oh, it's so selfish not to have kids. Like, I think it's way more selfish to have a kid that you're not sure about than to say like, you deserve parents who like 100% truly and deeply want you. So we kicked the can down the road for like 10 years and then Xander got a vasectomy. So we made it official. It's not happening.
Yeah. It's definitely not happening. I mean, it was not happening for a while before I got the vasectomy, but that was, well, I can't even say slamming the door shut because everyone's like, oh, you can get it reversed.
Like, we're not going to.
I mean, what was interesting too was, we were starting to grapple with those questions kind of around the same time that we were also starting to grapple with some other sort of like, I don't know, just bumping into like, what does society or family or friends, what do they expect of me in terms of what our life looks like versus what do we actually want to do? And that was kind of around the time, Vanessa was shifting from, being a therapist with an in-person practice to starting to create online courses and questioning like, okay, like why do I need to be in this physical location? I could be anywhere in the world working. I don't need to be working 9 to 5. I was quitting my job at Google because I was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do for my whole life. Everybody thought I was crazy. Like, what are you doing? You're leaving this equity on the table. You're leaving like the company that everybody wants to work at. And it's like, it doesn't feel right for me. And it was really powerful to kind of start realizing I don't have to do the things. We don't have to do the things that are expected of us. Like, we can live the life that we want to live. And, we don't have to justify that to anybody or make our life fit some expectation of us. And once we started making more and more of those decisions, it felt like, oh, okay, yeah, not only can I do that, but it feels good to be able to do that. It's freeing.
Can I ask what your journey was around it?
So I got sober at 28. When I turned 30, when I got sober, I started over. I had nothing. And so I was really rebuilding my life. And when I was going from 29 to 30, I was having that existential thing that a lot of 20s to 30s people experience, especially as a woman. I felt like I was about to be geriatric. I was like, I'm going to be 30. It's over. And so I was talking to somebody who was kind of like a mentor of mine. And I was saying, you know, I'm turning 30. At the time, I think I was maybe still single before I met my ex-husband. And I was like, I think I need to freeze my eggs. And she said, okay, well, do you want kids? And I was like, well, and just like you said, Xander, I had always kind of assumed that it was going to be part of the picture, but I never really played the tape through. I just thought, I'm going to get married and have kids. And like, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And nobody had ever asked me that question point blank, and I couldn't answer it. And then I was like, no, I don't think so. No. And then, of course, I met my ex-husband and we got married, and I still didn't want them. And he didn't want kids. He already had grown kids. And I get all of the comments that you guys have gotten, and people trying to persuade me and tell me that I'm going to regret it, and how am I going to be fulfilled in life, and it's the ultimate love, and it's the reason that we're all here, and who's going to take care of me, and all of those things. And I feel like every year that's gone by, I've gotten more and more sure of my choice. And then people would say, well, when you meet the right person, and now I'm in an amazing relationship with an amazing person, and we've talked about it. And I'm like, yeah, no, I still don't think. And I'll check in with myself periodically and be like, do I still, you know, I'm about to be 40. Should I freeze my eggs? I don't know. I've had OBGYNs tell me. I've had people sitting exactly where you're sitting, and they've been steadfast that they don't want kids. And then 5 years later, it's all they want. So these are the things that I weigh. But at the end of the day, I mean, you put it so beautifully. It's that want. I'm like, do I want kids? No. And I had a very similar conversation with my cousin actually years ago. And I said, I think I'm just too selfish. Like, I like my life the way it is. I like my autonomy, all of that. And she said, no, the selfish thing would be knowing that about yourself, and exactly what you said, bringing a kid into the world that you're not sure just because you're, you know, fearful that you might regret not having kids or something. So I don't know. I just feel like I don't have that maternal thing. Like, I have it for dogs.
Yeah.
Every dog I see, I'm like, I need.
Oh yeah, I'm a passionate dog parent. Very passionate.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, I have friends who have baby fever, and friends obviously that are having kids, and I love it for other people, and I just can't I can't relate to that feeling of wanting them.
Yeah, no, it's really nice to get to talk to other people who feel the same way, because there's just so much judgment that goes around, and it can feel really hard to share your truth about it. But I think it's really important for people to really look at it as a choice. I mean, even for us, like, it didn't even seem like a choice that we could make. It was like, yeah, you get married and have kids. That's what you do. But I think being able to view it as a choice, like, and even if you decide to have kids, that makes the choice so much more powerful. Like, I really let myself consider what it would be like to not have a kid, and I decided I wanted you. Like, I think that makes it so much more powerful.
Yeah, I totally agree.